Hello, welcome back to SE2 Improves Improvement. I am Wardí. We're going to be going straight into our next game, which is going to be a PvT between our red Protoss player in the top left hand corner. He is sated. In the bottom right hand corner, our blue Terran player, llollloll. So see what the guys want to do here. Once again, guys, please do consider following the Twitch channel which you're viewing on right now, twitch.tv/Wardí. But if you want to see when we go live with all of the SE2 Improve events and so on. And also please consider giving us a follow on twitter.com/SE2_improve, facebook.com/SE2improve, and youtube.com/SE2improve if you want to check out the VODs for this or the previous show. So we're now in. Got a few hours left, and we've got lots of replays to get through as well, so we're going to start speeding things up in terms of breaks, etc. So our Protoss player is going for a double gas build, which is pretty standard. He's going to be able to start the second pylon as well. This is a Masters level play. About 600 point-ish, if I'm not mistaken. So, sated, he's going for the double gas. He's going to try and get some kind of tech up very quickly here. As he just started with 7x core, it could definitely still be an expansion play. It could be a kind of all-in, but it's so hard to tell for Terran players. The most they can get out of it is, well, you've got 2 guys on each gas instead of 3, so you're still more likely to expand because you don't kind of rush in loads and loads and loads of gas. But we'll see exactly what Sated wants to do in just a few minutes' time. As llollloll just waits to try and catch the expansion, but keeping his SCVs there is just kind of asking for trouble, where instead he could be in the main. Well, he hasn't even scouted in the main base, so he doesn't really know anything at all. So straight away he should be in this main base. He should see this double gas and kind of think, well, you can tech up quite quickly, you can take an expansion then still tech quite quickly. Already a sentry coming out, which is one of these great things about this kind of double gas play. You can afford to get sentries really early on. And now llollloll trying to maybe thinking about going up the ramp, but he's actually going to back off, and he's just got absolutely no information at all with this scout and SCV. So a little bit of an interesting decision. We do see the 1 racks expand coming out of him, and it's going to be the 2-3 racks follow up as he's starting up a bunker at home, which is fine as well at the ramp. You kind of need that, of course. And there are the 2 extra barracks. Sayed actually going for a Stargate here, which is pretty interesting. It's not what you might expect in the PvT, and he's probably going to get Phoenix out of it, and maybe just rely on his opponent not reacting to it correctly. As, you know, if you don't react to it correctly, you can do a lot of damage. You can pick off a lot of probes, you can pick off a lot of marines as well if they're just left 2 at a time and so. And it can give you a lot of map control if your opponent lets their medevacs go out of position a little bit. You can pick off the medevacs quite easily as well at that kind of 10-minute timing. So, Sayed throwing down the Stargate. In general, if you can scout this, a turret maybe here or so on the entrance path and a turret maybe here on the entrance path, sorts out quite nicely because they can't come in and commit too much to it. And then just never let your marines be kind of too alone, or just kind of let your marines chill around the turret as well, because that helps out too. As llollloll right now going to be able to just try and take a little bit of map control. He's going to try and take his tower, which he's going to be able to do. There's no stalkers out on the map, so he might be able to recognize this and make something happen with it. This SCV kind of hidden over to the left hand side. He's actually going to even take out his opponent's kind of tower, and he's actually going to go straight up his opponent's ramp too. So a very bold move from llollloll, something I wouldn't actually really recommend, because if your opponent has maybe 2 stalkers out by now, these marines are just dead, and you're probably going to gain pretty much nothing. So he's actually going to fall all the way back, but even here I think it's a little bit of an overextension. Just sending a single marine over to the 3rd base to check for that later in the game. And again, he still has no idea if his opponent's on 2 base, if his opponent's on 1 base or what. He could have died to a 4 gate by now. He could be about to die to a 3 gate pressure. His opponent could have proxied a void ray. His opponent could have proxied a robo facility. A warp prism could be in his main. Anything could have happened, and the Terran player just doesn't know about any of it or any of the possibilities. He doesn't even throw down a scan. 7 to 8 minutes is a pretty nice time to throw down a scan in TVP, so he's not actually going for that quite yet. And if he did, again, it kind of sucks because he didn't look into his main base, into his opponent's main, so he couldn't see where the initial pylons were. Generally, if you're able to scan around the initial pylons, you'll be able to pick up on quite a lot of the tech. So the first 3 Phoenix are coming in pretty quickly here, and again, the Terran player has no idea about this, and you know, he's actually starting up double turrets, like with absolutely no scouting. It's a little bit crazy. Maybe that's why he doesn't need a scout. Maybe map out.
Add-on complete.
Throwing up double turrets, which is a little bit intriguing, and turret is natural too. When there's not really that much need, so say he's going to come in here, he's going to get turned around pretty quickly. He's still going to get in range to pick off the work out on the starport. So them turrets right now really haven't done that much. They just kind of protected the units kind of in the mineral line, but they've still he's still managed to lose some workers. So llollloll found himself a little bit supply blocked right now, and he's not really recognised that this starport stopped building, which is a big issue because that starport has been delayed for so long, and being delayed for so long is never good, because right now he's not going to be able to pick up his factory, he's not going to be able to make medevacs, which is going to delay his push, and once his push is delayed he's going to find himself in a lot of trouble, and still he's not recognised that he's rallying it and everything, and he's just, yeah, so finally going to restart that. So llollloll taking a lot of damage here early on, and you know, 2 turrets even I think is a little bit of an overcommitment right now. Turret at the front for DTs, well, that's fine. But 4 Phoenix are going to come back in now, and we'll see if he can do anything with these. Again, this whole base, kind of area of the base over here is still pretty much neglected. It's still open to any kind of attack. And say it just kind of moving around, picks up the Marine out the 3rd base. Again, just taking the map control here as he adds on 3 more gateways. Going up to 6 gateways, and the Templar Archives possibly could go to some kind of heavy push. The Marine sword from the 3rd, thank you. Well, so he scouted it from the 3rd. I knew I shouldn't have called him a map offer. So, the Phoenix, just patrolling right now, getting ready for drops. And this is a good thing about Phoenix, he can shut down the drops very nicely. And again, because of the way that the starport was denied, he's actually going to end up being a lot further behind than he should be in terms of like his push time. I mean, he should be able to be over on the map and doing some damage. If he was, he probably would have came in before these Archons, which would have been great, really. Going to start taking down the rock stated, going to try and take his 3rd base pretty quickly, but again, llollloll just, look, I really do feel like maybe just 1 too many turrets in the main base. Other than that, Sated didn't really try and push the issue too much further. But he's actually even got Vikings out instead of medevacs. Wow. So Vikings, no, you would never need Vikings, because unless your opponent transitions into carriers instantly, you're not going to need Vikings, because quite simply, you just need your bio to be healed and then you can stim. And he's still making Vikings. So the Vikings are going to be useful in taking down these Phoenix for about 5 seconds. And then the Phoenix die, and then it's like, well. So, basically, you've got 6 Vikings, which are completely useless. They cost you gas. And like the Marines can take down the Phoenix so easily already that the Vikings are just completely unnecessary. He's going to start moving up to the right hand side of the map, trying to get into the 3rd base, or close to the 3rd base of his opponent. But Sated, you know, he's got charge up, he's got Archons up as well, he's got force fields ready to go too. And, well, llollloll, he's just not making the best of attacks. He's got no way to heal his army if there's if he stims, and it looks like he's going to maybe try and engage here. And he's in a pretty nice position, but force field could go down, and a force field there is going to stop a lot of the aggression, in fact. Going to deny for quite a while, and he's going to continue streaming the units out. Another Warden of Zealots, another Archon coming in as well. This is still a pretty strong attack from llollloll, but again, he's going to end up stimming again and again and again here. And as he stims more and more, the weaker his army's going to get, and there's no medevacs at all to kind of help this out. And Sated now going to come down the ramp, popping the Guardian Shield. 4 Archons are just going to do so much damage against this, especially without medevacs to heal. And the Archon's just going to take so long to die, but Sated's pushed back again, but once these Zealots come in, his Archon's going to be able to turn around. A couple of them on really low health, they can get fired down really easily. Now dropping down to just 2 Archons. Again, llollloll just, with medevacs, probably would have steamrolled over this pretty easily, but the Vikings just not useful at all, and it looks like he actually just leaves the game in what wasn't really necessarily a lost game, apart from the fact he's streaming units. And he doesn't have a 3rd base, but, you know, he traded pretty well for the army, so a bit of a 2 base timing from llollloll didn't really work out too well at all. In general, he saw the Phoenix with the Marine at the 3rd, which was nice. He didn't really need 2 turrets, he didn't need Vikings at all, and in general just his macro, just needs to drop a few more mules. For Sated, he hit pretty nicely. I mean, he had his charge up, he had the Archons up when the push came and so on, and he's got the Phoenix to defend from drops, so he's only having to think about 1 position at a time. So a nice cool little funky game, not really too much to analyse about it, just more of a misplay from llollloll, I guess, if you want to say. But yeah, so we're going to jump to a quick 2-minute commercial break, and then we will be right back with another game. So guys, stay tuned. This improvement, and we'll be back in just 2 minutes.